Everyone, I'm Angelo. I've been homeless in Northern Virginia for 7 weeks now and sleeping in my car. And I want to talk about what do I miss most from living in a home. So first obvious point, I don't miss sleeping in a bed. I actually sleep a lot better in my car than I ever did in a bed, especially with my sleeping bag. When I wake up now, I forget that I'm in my car and I think I'm in a bed sometimes. I don't miss having TV. I really don't like much TV except for Turner Classic Movies. I don't miss being on the computer because that was just a lot of work. Like, I'd be editing videos, and I do want to be able to edit videos soon. I am saving up for a laptop. I didn't have friends over much. I don't miss having a nice room. I don't even miss a private bathroom. The only thing I truly miss is when I would get up around noon or really 1 or 2 in the afternoon and nobody else was home, because finally my goddamn roommates got their act together and stopped letting the unemployed boyfriend sit outside my room for a year watching or listening to podcasts of a couple of white guys talking about things he already agrees with. He's like, that's right. Republicans are so greedy. 6-pack of beer. Oh, gotta get Chipotle. Run out the door like the Tasmanian devil. Come home. All right, here's my trash for my food. Throw it on the ground. I don't miss that. And so finally he moved out. And when that happened, I was able to actually have the house to myself during the day when everybody else was at work. The only thing I miss is going to the kitchen, having it be quiet, and being able to make oatmeal with raisins and peanut butter in it and enjoy sitting there and eating it. That's it. That's the only thing I miss. Everything else, I'm so glad I'm not doing. I'm glad I'm not around a landlord. I'm glad I'm not around roommates, because here's the thing. Even good roommates are bad roommates. And even a good landlord is a bad landlord, because you're only paying a landlord because you can't afford a home. It's not just that you individually can't afford a home. It's that housing prices go up and up, and yet we can't afford to pay for homes because wages don't go much higher. My mom said she was making like $900 a month back in like the 70s when she was in America, and paying something like $25 a week in rent for a really nice room in a nice neighborhood. I don't make much. For there was a time when I was making about $900 a month. Let me think. It was about $150 a week. What's that times 4? $400 to $200, $600 a month. Yeah, so that's less than 900. I was getting by living in Annandale and living on my credit card. But the last 2 years living in Arlington, I was living on my credit card. I looked up my bank app on my phone. It said on average I was spending like $300 more a month than I was making. Now that number is going down. That average is dropping because I don't pay rent. But rent is so high because we have a system set up where people are exploited to pay billions and billions of dollars to keep certain people rich, while exploiting and brutalizing poor people, like rich prison corporations, contractors that make weapons and battleships and fighter planes to go kill poor people in other countries. Meanwhile, we have 50 million people here on food stamps. So if housing's so affordable and the system's so equitable, and anybody who wants a place to live can find it, and wants work can find it, how come most jobs around here in Arlington, I'm not in Arlington right now, but in Arlington, Virginia, the average rent, according to Arlington County's website, is $1,678 a month. You can get a $13 an hour job, work full-time, and never be able to afford that. You'll never even probably pay down your bills because you're paying rent somewhere else where you got 4 roommates or 3 roommates, and you have a shared bathroom, and you have to pay for transportation and food and medical insurance, if you can even afford medical insurance, and you've got to pay interest on your credit cards. You probably have to pay student loans. It's not even worth it. You're just working to keep living. It's an illusion. Like, they'll accept me, these rich people will accept me one day. For most people, that's not the case. And you can work that job for 80 hours a week, and you will still never be able to get a $1,600 a month apartment. Now, you're thinking, well, you could literally afford it. Yes, you could. First of all, if you're able to save that money, which you very likely won't be able to, and also no job will let you work 80 hours a week. That pays $13 an hour. They'll have to pay overtime. It's going to be a ton extra money for them. They're just not going to let you do that. So first of all, that's fantasy. But even if you were able to work that 80 or whatever works out the math to make it double your income, because after 40 hours a week by law you have to be paid 1.5 times your hourly rate, and actually after a certain amount then it goes up even more, I think. But whatever it is, however many hours to double your income, you still won't be able to afford an apartment, to live on your own with some dignity, still paying a landlord who you're going to be relying on to fix things and who may not want to, and who may increase your rent or find a reason to sue you for eviction. You're going to be rejected because apartments wants you to make 40 times in 1 year the income of 1 month's rent. So $1,600 a month times 40 they want you to make. And if you don't make that, they're probably going to want you to pay 2 deposits and pay the first and last month's rent. So you're going to be paying thousands and thousands of dollars to move in, and for what? What's the benefit? You don't get any more amenities, you don't get any more square footage, you're just paying to be in proximity to a lot of rich, powerful people around DC. Soon, like Amazon employees are going to be moving here who will make $150,000 a year. Who even then, it's such greed and bloat and inertia that they're up against, because they're going to be paying so much to live here, and they're going to be making so much, but they're paying so much. It's like, how greedy can you be to want to be somewhere? I understand maybe some people it's a job that's fulfilling or something, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what those jobs are. I don't know what jobs in offices and computers pay that much. But they're going to be paying so much to live here. Jeff Bezos, by the way, he's getting off like a bandit. Amazon gets $800 million in Virginia public revenue, not tax breaks, money paid to them. How does Virginia have $800 million to pay to Amazon to live here, but we have homeless people, thousands of homeless people in Virginia? It's a system that's meant to keep money flowing freely to rich, mostly white men. And I'm just noticing dog crap around where I'm standing. And hey, that's a metaphor for how I'm living. Actually, being homeless is all right. Again, point of the video, the only thing I miss is sitting in the kitchen making breakfast without my goddamn roommates sitting around singing like diseased ostriches, like whoa, whoa. Like everyone's got to love them, everything's a party. Anyways, we have all this money to give to big corporations like Amazon, but we somehow don't have money to give to people who are struggling around here. And why? Because that would be so disruptive, and it would mean actual competition for people who are rich and making a lot of money around here. And they don't want that. They pretend like there's competition, but in reality, they have an oligarchy set up, basically. We talk about oligarchs in other countries, in Russia, which they do have, but we don't want to admit that we have that here. We pretend like, no, it's a meritocracy. If you make it, it's because you worked your way up, and it's perfectly fair. Look at some of the rich people who are on TV and on the internet spreading racism. Tucker Carlson, Sam Harris, Jared Taylor, maybe lesser known, but he's a guy in Virginia, big white supremacist, white nationalist. Trying to think who else. I had another name. Richard Spencer. All trust fund kids. Their parents were rich. Richard Spencer, family had some, plantation or something. Tucker Carlson, his family made TV dinners, got rich off immigrant labor in America from it. Jared Taylor grew up, his parents were traveling the world. He grew up in Japan. And now he's settled here. They want you to believe that life is like a meritocracy in America if rich white men are powerful, and everyone else has to be subservient in a way and deferential to the needs of powerful white men. And oh, it's a dangerous time for men. It's a dangerous time when men are held accountable, when a cop can't just kill a black guy running and shoot him in the back. It's a dangerous time to be a cop. Anyways, I'm getting off point. Point is, I don't miss much about living in a house other than just having a kitchen to make breakfast. I don't miss making dinner because my roommates were just big pains in the asses and fucking selfish. So if you're thinking about living on your own, living in a car, having no rent, going without paying for a place, it's actually not that bad. It's actually very enjoyable. The thing you got to do, first of all, have a plan. Probably have a sleeping bag if you're in a cold area. Actually, I think it's going to be worse when it gets warmer around here. I don't know how I'm going to sleep. Well, I'll have my blankets, I guess, but how I'll keep cool when it's so hot in my car when the sun comes up, and how I'm going to keep food in my car, because now it's nice in the winter. I can keep cold foods in the trunk without spoiling. Although yesterday I had to eat a bunch of it because it was getting too warm. It was like 60 degrees. I'm like, I got to eat this chicken and yogurt and lettuce. The lettuce already pretty much went bad. So think about that. If you don't want to keep contributing to a system that enriches a few, exploits many, think about moving into your car and give a big middle finger to that system that enriches powerful, rich white men and pushes other people into further and further into poverty, concentrates them among poorer and poorer neighborhoods. Live in your car. Don't give money to them. Don't give money to, if you can help it. I'm looking at the dog crap I'm trying to avoid stepping on. Don't give money to a landlord to enrich them to pay their mortgage when you get nothing. It's just, I realized after a while I'm just sinking money into a hole in the ground, and I am tied down to this place. Whereas now, I feel freed up to, like, it's worth it to go to a gym and get a gym membership. Because before, if I could exercise at home, it's like, well, what's the point of even paying for a gym membership? Now it makes more sense to be out doing things, even though I don't have much money. I'm really still struggling with my bills. But at least it makes more sense now if I'm going to go out to an event, even paying for the transportation, it's like, okay, I can accept that. Whereas before, it was unacceptable because it's like, well, every second that's ticking by, that's like, you can divide up how much money I'm sinking into this room that I'm staying in. So it's like, how can I justify going out and spending money, accelerating the rate I'm losing money at, when I should be trying to make money somehow? And that to me was, you know, researching business opportunities, trying to make videos, certainly editing videos. But in the end, it was all a wash. I came away from it going broke, credit cards maxed out, over $15,000 in debt, paying off other debts. So it was worthless. So, you know, take yourself out of the system a little bit. Still looking at this dog crap. If you're thinking that rent's too expensive, you can't afford to live, hopefully if you don't have any major responsibilities like kids, just think about moving into your car, finding places to sleep, get groceries in your car. Do not eat out all the time. You will go broke so fast. You think you're saving money because you're saving money on rent, which, yeah, it's true, but you can easily spend $50 a day eating out. Don't bother. Try getting groceries a lot that'll keep in your car, like peanut butter, cereal, fruits, at least in the winter when it's cold. Other stuff that'll keep for a while. Bread, certainly. Shop at cheap grocery stores like Aldi, Walmart, Trader Joe's. That's a good one. Anyways, that does it for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you're thinking about moving out because you need a big change, it's too expensive where you're living, think about moving into your car. Bye.